Everyone. It is 25 for the cause, day 16 out of the 25-day mental health challenge presented to me by Christine Love Peace. All right, today's Sunday, August 30th, 2020. I'm going to go ahead and get started in about 30 seconds or so. We'll let people get a chance to get set up, and then we'll talk about today's topic. And because there's no music, and I will do my push-ups at the end, I should be able to keep these to 15 minutes. And so that's my goal when I do this, to keep this to 15 minutes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And again, today is day 16 of my 25-day mental health challenge, and it's Sunday, August 30th, 2020. And today my topic is the truth has no temperature. And this discussion is going to deal about mental health and the truth. I've always loved that saying, the truth has no temperature. Some facts can be ice cold. Okay, so there's different ways I want to talk about how the truth has no temperature. Number one, when they say this, that's the cold hard facts you're giving somebody, just cold hard facts. You might not want to hear them, but that's the case. So cold hard facts. I have ears that are as big as satellite dishes, and what's up with these eyebrows? I don't know. The cold hard facts are they're kind of crazy. Okay, so that's an example of a cold hard fact. I might not want to hear it, but boy, when I see these, there's something wrong with those. Okay, number two for the truth has no temperature, asking questions that need to be asked. Okay, so once again, in mental health and wanting to get to the truth, you have to ask questions sometimes that nobody wants to ask. Why did this happen? Okay, we know who things are happening to. Why are they happening? And so that's a question that's tough to ask. Number three, starting difficult conversations in an attempt to create a mutual understanding, not a mutual agreement. So again, when you're seeking truth, okay, in politics, religion, race, okay, your goal isn't to have the other person possibly agree with you. It's just you to simply have a mutual understanding of the other person's viewpoint. It doesn't always end in mutual agreement. We can agree to disagree. Okay, but that truth, that cold truth sometimes gets people upset. Okay, and they don't want to have a mutual agreement. And then number four, sometimes we have to embrace a truth that you might not like to hear or you might not want to know. Okay, something like a terminal illness. Go to the doctor for a checkup and then he tells you have a terminal illness. That's a cold, hard fact. That's a truth you might not want to know. If you had an unfaithful spouse, something to that effect. As a kid, if you didn't make a basketball team or a baseball team, football team, softball team, volleyball team, not making the team, that's a truth you don't want to embrace. So the truth can be cold. The truth can have no temperature. The truth can hurt your feelings. The truth can be difficult to discuss. But just because it's all those things, it doesn't mean we shouldn't seek the truth. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my two verses today, and then I'm going to talk about a couple authors, actually, two of them today, one tomorrow. And I'm going to introduce you to two books that have been given to me, and I read one, and I'm in the middle of reading another, and I want to give you a look at those. All right, so we always want to start our conversations with a verse because I think it's always important when you're going to have difficult conversations to have your right frame of mind when you do this. So my verse today is, let your conversations be always filled with grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Let your conversations be always filled with grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Colossians 4, verse 6. I think that's great. Our conversation should always be filled with grace, with grace. Okay, because we know what it's like to make mistakes, have wrong assumptions. So we need to give other people that grace. But this is the one I loved, and seasoned with salt. I looked this up. Seasoned with salt means you're going to practice tolerance, kindness. You're going to be gracious. And this was the great one. You're going to be presenting truth using proper words and a proper attitude. That's how you do something seasoned with salt. I hope that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to have these conversations, and I want to have them seasoned with salt. I want there to be tolerance. I want there to be kindness. I want to be gracious. But I also want to present the truth using proper words, cold, hard words, but with a proper attitude when I'm doing them. So I love that one. Verse number 2. Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. That's 1 John 3, verse 18. And I think what they're saying here is don't assess a person's credibility by their words, assess their credibility by their actual actions. Okay, don't fall in love with someone's words or speech because people can tell you things you want to hear, but if their actions and the truth don't follow that up, that's where the problems occur. So we have the Sarasota County School Board who is in love with words or speech, but if you look at their actions in the truth, it's not matching up. We have some unsafe conditions that we need to talk about. And that's why I'm going to take a look at these two authors today. Authors who are willing to tell you cold, hard facts about the public school system. One is Ingrid Laus, and another is Andrew Pollack. So I'm going to start with Ingrid Laus. Ingrid Laus was born and raised in Miami, went to the University of Miami, and she taught in Dade County Public Schools for 8 years. She wrote a book called The Death of Public Schools. And she actually contacted me over over Facebook Messenger. And she said she had seen this. And then what she was able to do was send me a copy. And I thought that was pretty awesome. The Death of Public Schools by Ingrid Laus. I'm just going to read a couple excerpts from here because I think it's very important because she gives some cold, hard facts. So she says, I feel a sense of urgency in writing this book. We're living in a time where many citizens are waking up to harsh political and world realities. And we know this when we watch the news every morning. It's only logical that Americans also wake up to the realities of our education system, which is our only real future, our children. This book is a fight for teachers. It's a fight for them to feel valued, for their value to be recognized by teachers and non-teachers alike. Everyone yearns to feel valued in order to simply keep striving in life. Teachers don't feel valued. If teachers don't start to see value in their profession, then they will continue to drop out of it. We're more than burned out. We're sinking, and we're sinking fast. That's cold hard. Is this what we want? The future of education, which means the future of our children, which means the future of our world, is in the hands of women and men who feel like they aren't valued and they're looking to get off this sinking ship as quickly as possible. Think about it. Truly. That's pretty good. That's pretty cold, hard facts right there. A sinking ship. People are feeling undervalued. Teachers are feeling undervalued. Staff is feeling undervalued, especially in this pandemic. I'm so curious how the first day of school in Sarasota County is going to go tomorrow. Teachers, please contact me and give me some info on what goes on, what goes good, what goes bad, so I could bring that up and talk about it. But yeah, that's going to be a stressful situation tomorrow for a lot of teachers. Not only are they going to have to deal with the one-on-one contact with all these kids and the things that the pandemic goes with that, but they also have online learners they're going to have to focus on. So their job just got doubly hard. Do they feel valued? I don't know. I don't think so. And if you don't feel valued, that's why you need to show up Tuesday night, September 1st at 6 p.m. to make people understand that you are of value. So this is a great book, The Death of Public Schools. And she says in there, this is not an academic book. This is a book she just wants people to read. Okay, so Ingrid, thank you so much for sending this copy to me. I will reimburse you. Okay, but The Death of Public Schools. The second book I'm going to bring up is Why Meadow Died by Andrew Pollack. I've shown this before. I'm still trying to get a hold of Andrew Pollack because what he's written in here is so important and so prophetic that people need to read this because it's happening all over again. So Why Meadow Died Andrew Pollock, Max Eden. Andrew Pollock is the father of Meadow Pollock, a student who was murdered at Parkland, and he's the co-author of Why Meadow Died, the people and policies that created the Parkland shooter and endanger American students. He didn't say endangered, in danger, continuing to put them in danger. And again, this isn't about fear. This is just about the facts. This is all we're doing. We're looking at real life situations, people who were involved, teachers, parents, and they're giving us their insights to warn us, to protect us, to make us aware. Okay, so don't confuse this. We should be afraid, but I don't want to preach fear. That's not what this is about. I want to preach awareness to what's going on so that we can deal with it. So here's what Mr. Pollock says. Mr. Pollock shows you how school administrators across the country are rewarded for not enforcing the rules, which leads to 1,000 tragedies each day to go unrecorded. Does that sound familiar? Principal Matthew Gruel denying being punched in the face. Principal Matthew Gruel getting SRO Kim Wiley fired and removed off campus because she caught him not reporting acts of violence. So school administrators across the country are getting rewarded for this. The less you report, the better your school does, which leads to 1,000 tragedies each day. The A to Z that I always talk about. All these rules that these kids are breaking every day, and they're not being enforced, they're not being consequenced, they're not being educated about it, they're not being asked to change. They're told to just, they can continue to be disrespectful, disobedient, and defiant. That's crazy. Again, that's crazy. Public education is headed down a dark path. Teachers and parents need a wake-up call. It is the politically correct 1% that has the most power over our schools right now. They are sending a message to kids making the wrong choices that they are untouchable. So the politically 1% are sending a message to kids making the wrong choices that they are untouchable. And if you don't believe that, the young gentleman who did everything wrong in my situation, didn't follow one reasonable request, continued to commit acts of violence after this, has never been consequenced. Nothing ever happened to him for his role that day in that incident the day after Parkland. He did not have one consequence whatsoever. Okay, so this is exactly what he's talking about. You don't think this kid thinks he's untouchable? You don't think we're creating a future Jacob Blake? Here it is. This is how it happens, and that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Kids need adults to enforce rules and hold them accountable. That is a fact. That is a cold, hard truth. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like hearing it, but it's a fact. Kids need adults to enforce rules and hold them accountable. If not adults, who else? Their friends? Is that who they're going to look to for guidance? It's got to be their parents. It's got to be the teachers. It's got to be the people in authority. It's got to be the community. Those are the people who have to hold kids accountable. And it's not hard. It's just calling them out and say, hey, man, you're doing this wrong. Stop. Here's what you need to do. You know, and it takes time. It takes energy. And it's frustrating because you don't always get the results you want, but you can't give up. You have to keep going. Okay. Behavior does not magically get better when you decide not to punish or consequence bad choices. Let him break the rules 10 times, and we're not going to consequence him once, and let's see if his attitude gets better. Why would it? He's getting away with it. Why would it get better? He's only going to continue down that path. Mr. Pollock ends his book by stating this. The only reason that our schools work this way is because we, the parents, allow it. You simply have to step up, get involved, and make a difference for your children. Listen, I'm no longer a teacher. I'm a parent. And he's calling me out. We as parents, we are allowing this. And that's why I'm showing up at the school board meeting September 2nd at 6 p.m. to beat my horn and speak. Not for me, for you. This is why we're doing this. We can't allow this to continue to happen. We have to step up. We have to get involved, and we have to make a difference for our children. 4 of my children graduated from Sarasota County Public Schools. I have 1 left. We need to make a difference. We need to change things. Monday, August 31st, tomorrow, the topic will be This Truth Has No Temperature, Part 2. And it's going to be titled How the Sarasota County School Board and Trevor Harvey Are Creating the Next Jacob Blakes. If we want to find out why someone like Jacob Blake got into the situation he did. I'm going to give you my perspective of I think why. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm going to tell you what I think. And again, this is why I'm here. I have several former Black students, friends, teachers, colleagues who I know are seeing this and listening to this. You need to tell me if I'm wrong. You need to give me insights. This is what we did in class. This is how we communicated with each other. I'm not always right. I'm wrong every day. I make mistakes every day. I understand that. But point them out to me. Let me know. So here's what I'm going to give. I'm going to give everybody an assignment. See if you can read Patrick D. Hampton's open letter to LeBron James. You can Google it. Patrick D. Hampton, open letter to LeBron James. I'm going to just read you a little piece of this. Okay. Patrick Hampton is an African American man with 4 young boys. And here's what he said to LeBron James. And this is what I want to talk about tomorrow. Dear LeBron James, you don't speak for me and my boys. I'm a father of 4 brown boys. It is my responsibility as a father to protect and serve them. There is no need for police in my home because as the father, I'm the authority in my home. Police are needed where fathers and law and order are absent. When there is no father to protect and serve children, police have to move into that community to protect and serve. Where there is no father or authority in the home or neighborhood, young men rebel. This is why police are having a hard time gaining compliance with fatherless boys on the side of the road. They refuse to sit down. They refuse to be quiet. They refuse to comply. Why? Because the police and teachers are the first men and women to tell them no and assert their authority. These young boys have spent years under no one's authority. That is the main problem. Now, part of that I don't agree with because that's dismissing moms, and I don't like that at all. What they're saying is, and again, we could talk about this, but I think I have 5 children, 3 girls, 2 boys. I love my girls, man. The girls, they're so willing to listen, this and that. I think boys are different. I think boys need that tough love a little more sometimes. Okay. And that's where a father could step in. A mom can too. But when you're a single parent, whether it's a single mom or a single dad, it's a lot harder. And so he's speaking from the point of view just from a father. So please don't let this sound dismissive of moms, grandmas. We love you. And I've seen so many strong female role models in my life, so many, okay, that it's unquestionable. But he's not speaking down to them. He's speaking truthfully, cold hard facts about this problem. This is a problem in our culture, and this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So try to read up on Patrick D. Hampton. Okay, I'm going to finish up here. Again, you got to show up at the landings Tuesday night, September 1st, 6 p.m. You have to use your voice. You can support a local restaurant, pick up some takeout, eat it in your car, park in a spot while you're at the landings, beep that horn, drive around. Again, you can hold up signs. You can sign up to speak out for 3 minutes and make a difference at the school board meeting. You can make a difference. And I think that's what Andrew Pollack is saying. That's what I'm telling you. You can make a difference. I would tell this to my students all the time. And to tell it to kids, you got to convince them. I shouldn't have to convince adults of this. You can make a difference simply by showing up. That's all. Okay, I'm going to end my 25 for the cause today with my 25 push-ups and 5 more for my hometown of Naugatuck, Connecticut. There are so many people that I want to thank and send love to in Naugatuck that if I had to do 5 for each one of you, this could go on for another 200 days. Heidi, you're every day. Your words inspire me. I love it. Fernanda, every day. I have these people out here, and I hate doing this because I know I'm forgetting names when I say that. But Monty, I talked about you, Sprager, Rich Leask. I see all these people on there constantly offering me support, and it's phenomenal. So this is for the hometown of Naugatuck. Okay, I want to thank y'all. There's nothing like growing up in a small town, and that's pretty cool. All right, listen, I'm at 19 minutes, so I almost made it. Tomorrow, first day of school for Sarasota County public teachers. Have them in your prayers, have them in your thoughts. I'm going to do my talk about 9 o'clock tomorrow after it starts. You can catch it later. Obviously when you're working, but I'll be coming on about 9 o'clock tomorrow. And again, it's going to be how the Sarasota County School Board and Trevor Harvey are creating the next generation of Jacob Blakes. This is something we need to discuss. As a teacher, as a coach, I am concerned for the young black men in our community. And this is the irony of it. They wanted to fire me because I'm a racist, but when I go talk Tuesday night, I'm going to be talking for young black men in the community. So this is pretty cool, pretty incredible. God is great. Have a great Sunday. Do something kind for someone, and we'll see you tomorrow.